Okay friends, so for today's assignment, we're going to estimate the quotients for these problems using compatible. And I'm gonna let you work on 8 and 9 on your own. I'm curious to see what you'll come up with. For number 9, I want you to try really hard to write at least one complete sentence that explains your ideas about how to estimate the quotient for those numbers. So if I could give you kind of like a word bank of a way to get started, always a good idea to start with what you know. So say, I know that, and tell me your compatible numbers, and then complete your thought by saying how your compatible numbers that you put here, how does that connect to 498 divided by 12? And you might say that 498 divided by 12 is close to, and go from there. Okay, so that's just an idea to get you started. Your sentence doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but that's kind of like a word bank that could help you. Numbers, so let's review what we mean by that. When we estimate, we come up with an approximate answer that makes sense. The purpose of estimating is to allow you to come up with an answer quickly and easily in your head without using a calculator or without using scratch paper. And so since we're doing it in our head, we use compatible numbers that we are familiar with and can work easily with. So compatible numbers are numbers that you know well by studying your times tables or your division facts a lot of times. So if it's easier for you to do this assignment by keeping a times table handy, and that way you can kind of reference it to refresh your memory about different math facts, either multiplication facts or division facts, then I encourage you to do that. I have no problem with you keeping a times table handy while you're doing this. Okay, so you can do a quick image search, which you can see I've done here, and just pick a times table that looks like it would be easy for you to use. So here's one that I think I could probably use easily. And just keep that handy. If you have a printer, you can print it out, keep it by your desk, and just use it to reference when you're trying to find these compatible numbers. Okay, so let's look at our first example, number 1, which is 566 divided by 81. Now, I'm going to say that 56 and 8 are compatible numbers. So I'm going to start there. It is not necessary for you to have every single multiplication fact memorized in order to be successful at this, although that would definitely help, and I want you to study your multiplication facts. But this is why I'm saying if you don't have them memorized right now, get a multiplication table and that will help you. Okay, so now we can see that 56 divided by 8 is 7, and if you don't have that memorized, just count. Here's one group of 8, 2 groups of 8, 3 groups of 8, 4 groups of 8, 5 groups of 8, 6 groups of 8, and 7 groups of 8. All right, so now let's extend that and say if 56 divided by 8 equals 7, then 560 divided by 80 is also going to be 7. So 566 divided by 81 is going to be close to 7. Remember this symbol I told you? If you are making an estimate and your answer is just an approximation or a good enough answer, you can use this kind of squiggly equals sign. Okay, so my estimate for number 1 is 7. Now remember, I've been talking to you a lot lately about uploading supporting work. So this set of equations that we recorded here would be a great thing to upload as supporting work to show me that you watched the video and you understood what was going on. If you have a different way to estimate 566 divided by 81, then upload some supporting work so that I can see what your strategy was. All right, so now for number 2, we're going to do 453 divided by 93, and we're going to do the same thing we did before. Whoops, 453 divided by 93. We're going to use our times table chart just to kind of help help your brain make the connection between these larger numbers and our compatible numbers that belong to the same fact family. So I'm going to say that 453 divided by 93, the digits that are jumping out at me here are 45 divided by 9. So 45 is on my multiplication chart. Let's see where it is. 45, here it is. Let's see how many groups of 9 get me to 45. So here's one group of 9, two groups of 9, three groups of 9, four groups of 9, five groups of 9. 45 divided by 9 equals 5. So that tells me that 450 divided by 90 also equals 5, which tells me that 453 divided by 93 is going to be close to or approximately 5. So we used our times table to help us, and this is great supporting work to upload with your worksheet so that I can see either that you watched the video and followed along with me, or maybe you have your own way to solve it. What I do not want to see is calculating the exact answer using the house method. I don't want to see that because that's not the purpose of this assignment. This assignment is about estimating and finding a close enough answer. It's not about calculating the exact answer. The other thing that I do not want to see is an answer that includes decimals, because that tells me that you solved the problem using a calculator. And again, this assignment, the purpose of this assignment is not to practice using a calculator. It's to estimate. Number 3, 1,423 divided by 69. So now we're getting like bigger numbers, right? Our dividend is getting all the way up into the 4-digit numbers. And our divisors are 2-digit numbers because that's what we're studying this week. So don't be intimidated by that. But instead, think about, okay, well, let's focus on 14 divided by 7, because 69 is close to 70. And these digits, I know that 14 and 7 are part of the same fact family, right? 2 groups of 7 will get you to 14, which means that 14 divided by 7 is 2, which means that 1,400 divided by 70 is also going to be, is that going to be 2 or is it going to be 20? So that's going to be 20, because I know that if I do 1,400 divided by 70 and I say it's just 2, well, 2 times 70 is only 140, and that's not big enough. Okay, so now I know that 1,400 divided by 70 is 20, which means that 1,423 divided by 69 is going to be close to 20. Number 4, 8,631 divided by 10. Now this is an interesting one because we've been practicing dividing by powers of 10 so much, but just to stick with our skill of estimating using compatible numbers, I know that 86 is close to 90, and 90 is very easy to divide by 10. 9 groups of 10 will get you to 90, which means that 90 divided by 10 equals 9, sorry, not 9, 99, which means that 9,000 divided by 10 is going to be 900, which means that 8,631 divided by 10 is going to be approximately 900. And if you think about it, we can confirm that using what we know about dividing by powers of 10, because when I divide this by 10, my decimal point will move over 1 spot to the left, leaving me with 863 as my quotient, which is, of course, pretty close to 900 if we're estimating. Number 5, if you use $99 divided by 11 To estimate $98.69 divided by 11, is $9 greater than or less than the exact answer? Now, with a problem like this, I always have to rewrite these numbers and kind of think through the problem as I'm writing. So I'm going to start with $99 divided by 11. And I know that 99 divided by 11 is 9. That part's easy to do. And if I use this fact to help me estimate, $98.69 divided by 11 is going to be approximately $9. They want to know, is $9 greater than or less than the exact answer? So when I calculate $98.69 divided by 11, the exact answer, will that be bigger or smaller than $9? So that's for you to figure out, and then you need to write a sentence explaining your answer. Now, I have noticed that a lot of you have some difficulty with this, so I'm going to give you a sentence frame to get you started. A really good way to start your sentences about math is to begin with the words, I know that, and then fill in the blanks with the math knowledge that you have about the problem. So you might start by saying, I know that we increased the number we were dividing by, or you could say, I know that we increased our dividend to $99. And since we increased our dividend, that means that our quotient is going to be, okay, so since we estimated by increasing our dividend, that means that our estimated quotient or our estimated answer is going to be larger than our exact answer. Now, one way you can also kind of reason through this is by changing these numbers to smaller, more manageable numbers. Like if you imagine that instead of $99, let's just say that you have $9 to share with 2 friends. And in order to figure that out, you just round it up to $10 divided by 2 friends. And you know that's $5 for each friend. Now, when you divide $9 by 2, will your exact answer be less or greater than your estimated answer? And you can say that your exact answer will be less than your estimated answer because you increased your dividend for your estimated answer. So your exact answer will be less than the estimated answer. Estimated answer. And we know that's true because you may know just by heart that $9 divided by 2 friends is $4.50, which is of course less than our estimated answer. So sometimes looking at smaller numbers will help you kind of reason through what will happen with bigger numbers. Okay, now for number 6, this is an interesting question because, I don't know, I always think word problems are kind of overall better for your brain than just what I used to call, when I taught 2nd grade, we used to call these naked numbers, and the kids thought that was so funny. Like if it's a problem with no story, we would say those are naked numbers, and the kids would laugh a lot. All right, so let's suppose there are 19 students in a class, and a teacher has 122 pencils and passes them out to the class. Estimate the number of pencils each student will receive when the teacher shares 122 pencils. So we're taking 122 pencils divided by 19. And hopefully you're already looking at this and thinking, okay, those numbers are not very friendly. So maybe we can find some compatible numbers to use instead. Okay, now for this one, I can think of lots of compatible numbers that you could use, but none of them are really all that close to 122 divided by 19. I mean, you could change it to 100 divided by 10 and do it that way. You could change it to 100 divided by 20 is 5 and say your exact answer needs to be between 5 and 10. You could do that. You could do 100, you could change 122 to 144 divided by 12 is 12. So this is kind of a weird problem because I don't think this problem really works all that well with compatible numbers. So I'm going to leave that one up to you. You pick some compatible numbers that you think will get you a good estimate. Number 7, at a department store, a package of 12 handkerchiefs costs $58.99. Okay, who buys handkerchiefs anymore? That's what I want to know, but okay. So 12 handkerchiefs cost $58.99. Holy cow, that's expensive. Why would you spend almost $60 on handkerchiefs? All right. And let's see, it's a package of 12, so we're trying to estimate how much each handkerchief costs. So $58.99, we're going to say that's close to $60. Divided by 12 means that each one is going to be about $5.